and welcome to another edition of Lab Rats. My name is Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
And this is a technology show that helps you deal with computers and gadgets much easier and demystifies the weird buzz terms and kind of helps you with technology.
I like it.
It's fun. Anyway, today on the show, well, this is sort of the bookend to a show we did previously, where we showed you what to look for if you're going to buy a new PC or a new computer. Well, this is what to do when you're going to take that old computer and turf it.
Not the new one. You just got that a couple weeks ago.
No,
Don't chuck it out just yet.
The old one. How do you turf it? How do you turf it? You know, so it's environmentally friendly, so you make a little bit of money, and maybe, you know, if you're socially justice-minded, perhaps.
Yeah,
with
there
that in mind as
are
well.
a lot of options rather than just leaving it at the curb.
Right.
So we'll go through some of them.
Very good. So that's it. What to do with the old PC when you're done with it. Today on Lab Rats. So, when was the last time you turfed a computer?
Right about now. It's been a while, actually, since I got rid of a computer itself. I've gotten rid of some parts in a way that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But full computer, it's been a while.
But when you do, you have to take some steps, right, to prepare to turf your computer.
Yes, you do. And I'll tell you exactly why you have to take some steps to do this.
Right.
Now, back in the day, I was wandering around and I was looking along the sides of streets. You know, sometimes there was garage sales in this one neighborhood, and people would leave things on the curb. And occasionally, you'd find some good books just sitting there by the curb after the garage sales were ended. And one day, I went by there and I saw a full-on Macintosh computer just sitting there. It was just on the curb, just sitting there. Everything you needed to make it run: power cord, printer, everything.
Abandoned.
Abandoned. So I took it home. I thought to myself, hey, free Mac, why not? I took it home, fired it up, and guess what?
It worked.
It worked, and there were resumes, banking information, Excel spreadsheets, appointments. Basically, everything about this person's life that had put on the curb was just sitting there.
Was that when you started your life of crime?
That was when I started my life of crime. No, I didn't, but you know what? This is a problem because you can. You can take all of this information and snowball it into a whole case of identity theft, which we've covered before in the past. That's not what this episode is about, but...
Oh, that's why you wanted me to call you Cecil Martin for several weeks while you were cashing checks.
Exactly.
Okay,
but yeah, so here's the problem. You can always take your computer and throw it off to the curb like that, but from a security and privacy perspective, not really a good idea.
It's like taking your wallet. Taking your wallet or your credit cards and your checkbook and going,
yeah, I'm done with this now.
Done. There you go, world. Hooray.
Don't.
Right, so yeah, it is.
That's going to take a lot of time to fix that problem there.
It's a gross violation of privacy, right? And,
it is.
And you're putting yourself at severe risk, especially today when, you know, when personal security and identity theft are huge topics in the news.
Yes.
So let's talk about what do we do if we want to turf the computer? What are our options? So I guess before we even start, it's let's find somebody who can take the computer and put it to good use. It stays out of landfill.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about taking the thing apart. You don't have to worry about messing with the environment and all of those things, right? So first, find a worthy candidate, especially if it's a relatively new machine.
So one of the first things you can do is try to find a use for it inside your very own house.
Yeah.
So for example, you've gotten a new machine, this one's not so good anymore. Well, maybe you can turn it into a media server for your household. Put all of your MP3s on there. Or you could turn it into the kids' computer, take it downstairs, they can use it for all the games they want to play, whatever.
Right.
So just try to find someone else within your house first that might be able to use it.
And for those of you who think, oh, I don't know how to do that, well, simply, you know, so you leave it plugged in, and instead of connecting it to the internet modem you may have, for those of you who don't have a home network, you're just going to go out and get one of those little home routers from Linksys or D-Link or something like that. And you can actually plug in two computers into that and share the internet connection. Very easy to use these days.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you're keeping it off the internet and it's just a machine for playing games on, then that's something you can do too. So you don't even have to worry about that necessarily.
Right.
Just as if you can give it to someone like a 4-year-old or 5-year-old in your household, then that's problem one solved because it's staying within the family.
Right. So the safest option, perhaps.
The safest option.
Safest, most environmentally friendly option.
Yes.
Very good. Okay. Now, if it's going outside the house, you want to give it to somebody you know, a member of the family, something along those lines, but you still have to get rid of your data. So let's talk about hard drive, like data on the hard drive.
Okay. So, well, basically, everything that you do on your computer is saved to your hard drive. So you've got this machine right here, this little box that stores everything magnetically. So when you turn your computer off, it stays there, and it spreads it throughout all of the different areas of the hard drive. So if you're doing internet use on Internet Explorer or Firefox, it saves a cache of your banking information potentially on there. Right. It will save your spreadsheets, your resumes, all of that stuff will be on there. And again, this is stuff you don't necessarily want out there. Right. So first thing you do is delete programs that are using this information that you don't want anymore. Find the locations. Before you do that, find the locations where it saves this information. Go there and delete it. Make sure you backed it up to your new machine. Right. And clear your caches and just get rid of it manually, first of all.
Right, very good. And what I always recommend actually is, so you can do that and do that manual process, or you can be slightly more aggressive and you can wipe the hard drive clean and put a new copy of Windows on it. If you've gone over to cyberwalker.com, you'll see an FAQ, a frequently asked questions, a walkthrough of how to wipe your hard drive clean and reinstall Windows on top of it. Way back from, I think we have a version for 95, 98, ME, XP, Vista, that sort of thing. So, so it's, you just want a clean house. Yeah. For a fresh copy, it will actually make the machine perform a little bit better for whoever you're giving it to, right? And it'll also get rid of all the personal data. Yeah,
but that, as you said, it requires a copy of the operating system or the recovery disk for the machine. Yeah. And just remember, you will have to reinstall all of the different software that's on it. If you want to give them a copy of the software that was on there before, you'll have to reinstall it or give them the software to have them redo that.
Right, very good. Okay, one step beyond that, okay? So perhaps you don't have a friend or a member of the family who, who wants your computer. Perhaps you want to give it to the school or a community center, or perhaps you want to give it to an organization like the one that I run called Little Geeks. Right? So Little Geeks is an organization that gives internet-connected computers to underprivileged children. We'll take machines up to 5 years and recycle them. But before you give it to an agency like us, what you want to do is you want to wipe the hard drive clean to start. So you could do the reformat or reinstall, but what I'd highly recommend is actually use a tool, like what they call a file shredder tool. And if you hop on over to twocows.com and type in, on the search, you type file shredders, you'll see a really great list of these that we have listed over there on the site. Of course, twocows.com is owned by Two Cows Corporation, which actually also owns butterscotch.com, where we're running these days. So let's scroll down here. So there's a whole bunch of them, and you can see that we have ratings in terms of their effectiveness up to 5 cows. They're rated by 5, 1 to 5 cows. So, the Fire Recover, there's a whole bunch of different ones there you can choose from. Simple File Shredder. Now, some of them are free. CyberScrub is also another good one. It's a privacy protection product that I've used before, and I think it's very good as well.
So it finds personal type information and then gets rid of it, shreds it, writes garbage data over top of it so that it can't be recovered.
Yeah. Now, if you're not, you don't want to go through all that headache, and you just want to decommission the machine and maybe make a little bit of money along the way, you could actually take it apart, couldn't you?
You could take it apart.
Mine it for parts.
Right. So each of these things right here. So you want to get this stuff out of landfill potentially. So here's an old notebook which isn't much good anymore, right? So we're just starting the disassembly process here. So we can take the keyboard off here. So there's one thing that you could potentially reuse in another machine that needs something like that. We can go in here. It's a little bit difficult to do this backwards, but there we go. So we can take this out.
And meanwhile, Sean's doing that. It's not extremely easy to do this on some of the newer notebooks. No. The larger format ones, it can. There's usually a couple of screws you want to undo. But as you can see here, he's actually pulled the entire. What have you done? You've pulled the entire.
We've pulled the heatsink off of the processor, and we can actually take this processor out as well if we can get this screw spun around.
Can I do it? I have a better shot of it here.
Yeah. So then we can take these parts out, and there's memory in here. Yeah, it's a bit difficult. There we go. Got it. So now we can pull the processor out as well. So this can be reused potentially if the processor is still good, but the motherboard is shot. And on the back of it, we've also got spots for your RAM and the Wi-Fi card. All of these can be pulled apart.
Yeah. So you really could pillage the machine for for parts. Go to eBay, go to Kijiji.com, go to Craigslist, offer them up for free. sell them for $10, $20, $30 a pop, you know, depending on what vintage they are. You may need a little bit of geek help to figure out what they are, but just take photographs and post them, say, I have some old memory here. You'd be amazed at some of the hobbyists out there who want, you know, old parts and having a hard time finding them.
Yep, and yeah, and I guess there's a ton of stuff in here that even if it's no good, it can be turned into scrap metal as well. So, for example, you mentioned you take computers up to about 5 years old. So beyond that, if this computer is basically it's dead, it's not functional, you don't want to give it to a charity, obviously, because they won't be able to do anything with it anyway at that point, then you can turn it into a computer recycler of some sort. There's branches of freegeek.org kicking around. We had one in Vancouver, and we actually saw them in there taking apart these things. They pull out the parts that they could use, like the processor, say, okay, this is good. Okay, this motherboard is not good, but we can start yanking the copper out of it, recycle that, put it in the copper bin. We can take the transistors out and reuse those as necessary. Right. So they'll actually take it apart and make sure they can use the parts that are useful still. They'll recycle the other things properly so they don't end up in landfill and, you know, putting toxic mercury from like a monitor into the landfill, and making sure that everything else is done. They can reassemble things and then put them back out there and actually make charitable donations out of gadgets from various sources that you couldn't do yourself as an individual person. A
good source of some of the groups that do this and the companies that do this, you can actually find through your government, your local municipal government, or you know, do the internet search and that sort of thing. But yeah, you're right. People will take them off your hands gladly. There's all kinds of precious metals in these things. You know, your single unit itself perhaps doesn't have a gold mine in there, but it will keep the nasty arsenic, mercury bits and pieces that are found inside these machines out of landfill, and that's what we really want to do.
Yeah, and the very last thing I guess about this is before you just throw it on the curb or into your garbage can, is if you don't have a recycling facility, you know, locally, a business that does this, then check your government listings, because they may actually have environment days where they take this and take it somewhere else, just to make sure that it doesn't end in landfill as well. So I know the City of Toronto does, and I'm sure other major cities do this as well.
Areas do, yeah.
Right.
There you go. All right. All right, well, there's some tips on how to recycle your old PC and make sure it doesn't go into landfill, and give it perhaps to somebody who can use it. We'll be back after this message with final thoughts about that, Mr. Mobile, and Picture Time. That's after this. Well, during the break, I found this.
Oh no, I don't like where this is headed.
I'm very excited.
Oh no.
See, disposing your computer would not be the same unless you found and used power tools. So we're going to go and see Mr. Mobile first and see what he's got cooking over on the mobile set. But after that, we're going to drill some hardware.
I'm just going to go over here for a bit.
Okay. So here's Mr. Mobile. When we come back, how to permanently disable your hard drive.
Hi, I'm Jake Goldman, and you're watching Mr. Mobile. Today we're going to take a look at a really fun game for the iPhone called Tap Tap Revenge. This is going to look very familiar if you've ever played any of the very popular Guitar Hero or Rock Band on your Xbox or other platforms. And particularly if you've ever been in an arcade and played a game called Dance Dance Revolution. This game was actually called Tap Tap Revolution until they got a threatening letter from the lawyers and had to switch the name up to Tap Tap Revenge. I kind of like the new name better than the old one. So it's available in the iTunes App Store. It's a free download. It's made by a company called Tapulous. They've actually got a bunch of games, so take a look at some of the other ones. We're going to take a look at Tap Tap Revenge. Once you got it on your phone, as always, you just tap on the icon on the home screen and that'll bring it up. Now you see the three lines in the background there, red, green, and blue. That's really the premise of the game, as you'll see in a moment when we play it. And Tap Tap Revenge actually just allows you to grab music that they've already made tracks for, and so you'll see when it comes up here, we've got the option to download more tracks. I've downloaded a bunch already so that we can have something to play with. You can play in 1 or 2 player mode. I'm going to show you the demo in 1 player mode. You can also play online, which uses the network functionality in the iPhone to let you play against other people. So I'm going to tap on 1 player mode here. And then I get the choice of what level of tracks I'd like to do. So I'm actually going to do an easy track right now, but you've also got the option of medium, hard, and extreme. Extreme is really difficult. I'm going to just jump into easy. And a lot of the tracks that you can play along with here are actually based on tracks by well-known artists. So in this case, I'm going to play along with a song called Never Miss a Beat by the Kaiser Chiefs. Hopefully I'm not going to miss a beat. I hope you'll forgive me if I do, because I am kind of playing from the side here. So let's jump into the track. And Tapping anywhere on the screen actually pauses it, which is really useful. Good thing to know. So I'm going to resume the game. And you'll see little things come down the lines, and I just have to tap along when they get to the bottom. You can watch my score at the top here. Every time I tap on one successfully, the score goes up. The more accurate you are, the more points you get. Now this doesn't look that hard right now, but I can promise you, when you're playing on the harder levels and those little balls are coming down much more quickly, it gets a lot more difficult. Very entertaining game to hand your iPhone over to your kids if you're a parent, or just to play yourself if you're not. And I recommend you grab it from the iTunes App Store because it is, as I said, a free application, and so you really can't go wrong. I'm Jay Goldman. This has been Mr. Mobile. Thanks for watching. Check us out on butterscotch.com for more episodes and more of the other great butterscotch.com shows.
Okay, so now comes the part of the show where I get to use the drill, right?
No, it's not.
What do you mean, no?
No, you get to drill later. You have to wait. Okay. We have stuff that we're supposed to do first before you get to have drill time fun.
Okay, let's watch the pictures.
That's picture time. All right, so starting up, we have Paul, our viewer, and he's here with his two daughters, Abby, who is holding Charlie, who I believe resembles a certain cat you know.
Looks like Biff.
He does look a little bit like Biff.
1, 2, 3 people.
His other daughter is named Eileen,
yes.
who is holding her Lenovo.
Her Lenovo?
Her little Lenovo notebook.
The cat, the computer, not the cat. Oh, very nice.
Yeah, the computer.
Very good.
Lenovo would be a pretty good name for a cat, though.
It would be a great name for a cat.
And not shown here is their mom, Wendy, who is taking the picture. So thank you all for sending that along.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Wendy and kids and husband.
Yes. And careful. We just got a couple more to get through.
Come on.
All right. So this is from our viewer, Justin, who has a dual monitor set up here, and definitely not in the market for recycling this just yet. At some point. But this is nice and shiny and new.
One monitor, 2 monitors.
All right, and what he's using this for is video editing. So he looks like he's got Premiere up here and doing a lot of work here.
Very exciting.
Thank you, Justin, for sending that along.
Thank you, Justin, for sending your pictures in. Can I drill now?
Yes, you can drill.
Okay, so we should probably provide some useful information around this particular segment of the show.
Yeah, I know you want to drill, but you got to tell me why.
Okay. So here's the thing, if you're going to give your computer away, right, and you really can't get the data off, or you don't know how, or whatever it is, and you don't want to give it to a stranger and potentially have it recovered, but you want to give a computer away without the hard drive?
Or potentially the hard drive itself has died, the motor is working, but the data's still on there, but you can't get to it anymore.
Then this is what you do. This is how you give away the computer. You take the hard drive out, give away the computer, and then you do this to it. Ready? Now, Matt, you may want to turn the volume down here, because I'm going to blast it a bit.
And I'm going to put on these gloves here, because this could be bad.
Where's my blindfold?
So you don't get a blindfold. Careful.
Okay, so there's a round bit here, right? So this is the hard drive's in here. It's in platters around here. So, so I'm going to drill in here somewhere, okay?
Yeah, so you want to do in that, not here, because this is where the motor sits.
Right. Ready?
Okay. Okay, I think that's good and toasted.
Oh my God. You see the smoke came up there?
I did.
That was
You don't want to
fun.
breathe that.
I love it. Do you want to breathe it? Why? All right. That's how you prepare your computer for giving it away. Now, understand that we're licensed professionals here, and we're mostly adults, so kids, don't do this at home unsupervised. Make sure mom or dad or somebody...
burning over here.
It smells smelly, isn't it? Anyway, make sure you do it with, in a safe environment.
Yeah, this might go a little bit quicker too if you pull this top plate off and just start smashing it up.
That would work too.
Sorry, Matt. Turn down the volume.
All right. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in this week. Don't forget, you can send your pictures to.
You don't have to drill a hard drive every single time you get rid of your computer, but it sure is fun at labrats.tv.
Or
feedback at labrats.tv. We'll probably get it to us a little bit quicker.
That's right. Very good.
Or you could also try sending it to, we had so much fun drilling that Andy's microphone wire fell out again at labrats.tv.
Sorry, at labrats.tv.
It's exciting, drilling. Anything can happen.
Very exciting. All right. Don't forget, we can check out other episodes of Lab Rats at butterscotch.com. labrats.tv, other fantastic shows with or without drilling at butterscotch.com. Right?
There we go.
There you go. Thank you for watching this week. Thank you for tolerating my drilling and for putting up with Sean's analness. My name is Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
See you next time.
Are you ready? Try this at home.
Hey, I'm Andy Walker, and welcome to another edition of Labrats.
And today on the show, we're going to talk about tearing apart your mom's computer and turning it into a great big pile of silicone garbage.